You talk about a Christian who knows Jesus, and many of them know that the Jesus we're talking about is coming back very soon. Let's demystify that belief, because there are so many who are so heavenly and are of no earthly good. Talk to us about how Christianity and the belief in the second coming of Jesus should still make us citizens of this world, and what does it mean that Jesus is coming again for an African?
I have bumped into a few problems, particularly on social media, when I mentioned the issues of people being overzealous of the second coming of Christ. And then some of my eschatological friends, particularly in the Adventist circles, say I've denied the faith. I'm no longer proclaiming the second coming of Jesus.
But you did post something online that says I'm no longer,
yes. I'm no longer part of this
and
system.
they've been nitpicking you.
I'm no longer part of this system. I'm no longer, I believe in the gospel.
All right.
But the way in which the system is packaged right now, and the way in which we deliberately ignore critical issues and we camouflage and sugarcoat them, and we don't want to deal with issues. Yet we are so robust when it comes to addressing Catholics, when it comes to lambasting Lutherans, lambasting Pentecostals, false prophets, and what. We take all our guns out and we shoot. And but when someone points the same gun at you and says, but you
also have
why not fixing this problem here? You are called an antichrist.
All right.
But going back to your context of the second coming of Christ, rather, it is our obsession with the second coming of Christ, with songs that are beautiful. Take the world,
but give me
Jesus. I'm satisfied with just a cottage below. I have a city over the other side, in the sweet, by and by. All these, they're beautiful, sentimental songs, which were written by them. Sorry for that, by them to us.
Our brothers
from the other side. But while they're giving us this song, Take the World and Give Me Jesus, they have the world. They have, because if the issue of land is not important, for example, then why is the white man holding on to it?
All right.
If you say Jesus is coming again and we will be okay on the other end, then why are you as a race holding on to land and giving us Christianity? It almost comes up to one conclusion, that an African is in pursuit of holiness.
All right.
And has forgotten that you cannot be holy in poverty.
Wow. Wow.
And the second coming of Christ is actually an utopia where we think that there will be a great equalizer.
An emancipator from the poverty.
And guess the most painful part, Chief? When Jesus will say, you were faithful in little, I'll make you faithful over much. For Africans, some of us, we've been faithful over nothing. So how can you expect to walk on the streets of gold, live in a palace? You have never built any. And again, the book of Genesis is against some of those things, because it says, go out there, have dominion, have power, run the world, do it. Heaven, let heaven be a reward for a good life on earth, not an escape from poverty. Some people are really looking for Jesus to come back. Ask me why. They're owing. The house is not paid. The car is coming to be collected. He will be embarrassed next week when children are dropped out of school. So he is kneeling and says, Jesus, come now. Come now. Can we begin to teach eschatology as a way of evading our responsibility? That's my qualm. And I'm saying, as an African theologian, I'll be responsible. That maybe we need to reduce our excitement on the proclamation of the second coming and increase our responsibility towards ourselves and towards each other.
All right.
Let God find us occupied. But we cannot make occupation a profession. All of a sudden, we're just waiting. And because we have accepted this truth, he must come next week. And everybody else who has not accepted it must go to hell. That's evil in its own sense. That cannot be right.
And I was actually thinking about occupying till I come, being excellent in whatever we do. And how much little is little when Jesus said, he who is faithful over little. I mean, that little for me might be billions and billions of worth of investments. And by the way, the original patriarchs of the Hebrew faith, the Bible says they were not poor.
Come show me one. I said it the other day, I almost got killed. And I said, God has never used a black man, not a black man. God has never used a poor man, except for illustrations. Someone was saying, no, but I laughed my heart out. This one is saying, no, but in the Bible, Lazarus was poor. I said, which one? There are two of them. There's the Lazarus, the brother of Mary, and Lazarus who was in a parable.
Yeah.
So which one are you talking about? He says, no, the one that is in a parable. I said, okay, let me start teaching theology. That was a story.
It's not a real person.
But to him, Lazarus was actually a real person who was a friend of Jesus. So he mixed the two stories where Lazarus, the friend of Jesus, and Lazarus, the beggar, whose wounds were being licked. And he made them two. So he says, no, Jesus' best friend was Lazarus.
The poor
so we actually have developed what we call a theology of poverty.
So let's break it down and really make it clear. And I want us to finish our discussion on that point. So we know Jesus is coming. That's not a myth.
Yeah.
That's a reality. That's what the Bible teaches. And we believe we're living in the very last generation, the last church, as we call it, Laodicea. So we do know that he's coming. But to demystify his coming, you're saying we should be actively involved.
Let me actually throw in a spanner into the works.
Okay.
And say, but this will be new theology to you, but it's fine.
No, let me hear it, because this is about discussing issues
Let's talk
as
about
you see them.
the third coming of Jesus. The second one, I want to twist it all together.
Okay.
The first one, he came, he died for us on a tree. The second one, he must come in your heart.
All right.
Then you can wait for the big arrival.
But
for us to all of a sudden rush for the clouds to open before we accept him in our hearts, are we not rushing to a place where we are even not going to be there myself? I think in fact, that was the context of that article that I wrote that day. That how can we be talking about rushing to heaven?
In fact, it is the reason why I wanted us to demystify his coming and say, can we talk about what his coming really means?
Firstly, let's allow him to come into our hearts as his own gospel, the kingdom of heaven.
He's amongst us.
He wants to have access into our lives, and etc. And if he can be in us, Jeremiah then says there will be no need for any man to tell another man about God. And then we can all wait for this Messiah.
But that's what he says in the book of Revelation chapter 3 when he talks to the Laodicean church. Behold, I
knock at the door.
Whoever opens. So it's not the second coming.
There you go. So I know Paul mentioned it, because some few scholars out there would want to rush back and say, but Paul says we're waiting for this second coming. We can go back to the academic space and demystify that second. It's in context with what? But in the real sense of preaching the gospel, now that the Messiah has come, he has died for our sins. The second coming has to do with us taking this Messiah from a tree into the hearts of the people. Then we can take him into the clouds under the sound of the trumpet. Then, for me, that makes logical sense. Therefore, our theology of second coming must first of all deal with emancipation of people from poverty, degradation, disrespect, and etc. into the light of existence. And let the second coming and the third coming, whatever you call it, be the ultimate collection of the children of the kingdom. I think that makes sense.
Wonderful. It does make sense to me.